everybody. My name is Russ Owens, and I live at 5161 Portage Drive in Vermilion. My question is quite simple. I just wanted to get a better understanding of what the predicates might be to determine why you would do one road versus another road. What is their criteria? Now, I'm not expecting an answer, but for example, how many residences are affected on and then also on how many residences are affected by the roads?
If I can try to explain it. Correct me if I'm wrong. They do it off a number, right? So if they would get money matched through the OPWC grants and such, if we can either pay for a piece of road this big or we can do one this big. Right. So it boils down to dollars and cents on linear feet, correct?
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes most of the roads that are chose are roads that we can get grant money for, OPWC funds or MPO funds.
But you're trying to use a specific amount of money for these roads off of this suggestion.
Because they have failed to get the grant funding for this.
So if, in fact, there's X amount of homes or residents on one road versus X amount of homes significantly greater or smaller on another road, does that come into play when you're determining which one of those two roads you want to give it to?
When we're paying for it by ourselves, typically.
Pardon me?
I think when we're paying for it out of our own coffers, that comes into play. But when the state or the feds are giving us money,
The state is based on traffic.
Yeah, like it doesn't.
And the amount of traffic and access and things like that. But it would be interesting to find out how many actual residents are affected by one road versus the other road.
Council President, you look like you already.
Yeah, the situation we're in with coming out of the general fund, you've got 7 members and you can probably have 7 different answers. The reason for that is that ultimately we look at how many people are going to benefit from traveling near the school and near the pool, right? Right. Do we benefit a road that's going to get new sidewalks? Sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Then as Councilman Holmes said, what are we doing to not only the people that live out on that road, what are we doing to the people that have to use that for commuter, right? So yeah, we have to sit down with our individual conscience and say, what am I looking at here? We can adopt the way that the OPWC looks at it. We can adopt our own personal.
So the traffic on Pineview is significantly more located.
I would say
pass through on Brown.
I would say when you look at the schools and when you look at the pool in the summer, and the people that live on that street, which is in horrible condition, we all agree. But yeah, I mean, who are we benefiting? Is that a good benefit? Larchmont, to me, a very small street. I believe there's 7 residents homes on that, but it's a huge access to Sanford and then to the school area. So that's important to me, but may not be important to my friends up here.
So these predicates, whatever they might be, you will, as a council, take a look at them and then come up with a decision, one way or the other.
With respect to streets, yeah. We usually do that once a year. It's a real fun meeting.
And lastly, the decision on Pineview or Brown Hill Station, is it because everybody's been on those streets and they know they're bad, or is there another way that it's raised to this level?
If I may, those streets have been identified by the city engineer and doing a matrix of elements like you're talking about, the condition, the number of cracking, number of houses, vehicles per, I believe it is, day. They've come up as probable streets for addressing, but as Councilman Howell points out, they've never rung the bell with those who provide supplemental money. So now it's up to us, and I'm saying if it's up to us, we have some money. Let's do something about it already.
Service director,
I was just going to say what I was going to say.
So if you weigh how many residents there are on one street versus the other street, if there's more residents on one street, you would seem to think that might be, that might sway a decision.
I think, Russ, I think it's part of the decision. A lot of it has to come down to how much money do we have in the budget to fix a street. So Pineview or Brown Elm is going to be $1.6 million, and we have $700,000 in the fund to make a street or to redo a street. We got to look at the other streets too. What can we get done with that $700,000 or $800,000?
Yeah, but I'm really talking about this specific where they called out 2 streets. What are the predicates? How do you make a decision based on those
But
predicates?
you're asking how the decision's made, and I'm trying to explain to you that the decisions in the past have been made. There's not just one answer. A lot of it has to do with how much money do we have, and what can we do with that money, right? Do we not fix a street for 2 years to fix Pineview? And that was actually sort of a discussion we had, I think, in this council. And that's why we picked 2 very small streets, Nautical and Larchmont. Yeah, because they're not going to be a significant amount of money. So that was the decision, I think, amongst this council. But those are some of the elements that we put in play, or we decided when I'm making these decisions. Do we forego fixing any streets for a year or 2? Or because we know we have 15 other streets that need to be fixed.
Absolutely.
So if we can get one of those streets done for $600,000, then let's tackle it, right? Or we can get 3 streets done, like Frederick, Douglas, and Dorothy for what was supposed to be $700,000 or $600,000. It made more sense years ago to do that. So those are just some of the ways we make decisions, or I make decisions. I don't want to speak for everybody up here, but there's really not a single answer, I think, to your question.
Right, I wouldn't think so. I just didn't know if you looked specifically at the amount of homes and citizens that are affected by one versus another.
Thank you, Mr. Owens.
You got it.